See rule number one.
Yeah. Well, that's how I think Wegmans made it so big here because the customer service too. I think that's yeah.
Here comes the man of the house. And he will announce himself by a loud sneeze.
Waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it.
Yeah. Here he is. The man, the myth, the legend. I don't like the big glare behind us, babe.
The glare? Well, if we turn on overhead lights, it'll reduce the glare. Don't let Jack take my spot.
He's gonna get off that giraffe, you. You're a sneaky sneak. That's not your toy. That's
Hi, Scopy. Hi, Nia.
Good morning.
Hello, Jack.
Hi,
Good
Scooby.
morning, everyone. Okay, we are live on YouTube. I will bring the chime and the God call.
Here's your God call with Reverend Bill.
A friend asked me to help with patience, and I usually don't like doing that because the only way that we know that we have patience is that we get put at the end of a very long line and we don't feel like killing somebody. But I was reminded of a wonderful notion from David G., who said, "May I have the patience to wait while my mud settles and my water becomes clear." And that's really powerful because it's all about me and my mud and my water and not how quickly things on the outside are happening. Let's see what happens with your clear water.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. And the world will live as one. And the world will live as one.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who is here. Good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. I had an interesting experience. We started the technical check this morning, and I realized that I was the only person in North America. Because Benjamin is in Brazil and Anna is in England. And it's nice to have that little global footprint that's going on. We are on Zoom today. We have been on Zoom a few times so far. You guys know what the rules are. Keep yourself muted except when you're sharing, and like right now, when we all get to unmute and chant along together. So repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself to love.
I open myself to joy.
I open myself to
Joy.
I open myself to the goodness of the season.
I
I
open
open myself to the
goodness of the
Season.
And I know love is right here, right now.
Love is right here,
right now.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it
It is.
The mute button one more time as I remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open, loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. So, whatever path you've been on, whatever brought you to our Zoom today, and wherever you're heading next, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. Welcome. Around here, we believe there is one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we each use that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. The way we like to say it around here, it's your new life begins with a new thought. If you have electronic equipment around that does not need to be getting your attention for the next hour or so, go ahead and make it shush so that you don't get distracted, and we can focus on each other. I'm Bill Marchiony, the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today is Anna Wawrzyniak, who, as I mentioned, is in London. And we have a couple of practitioners today. Joe is going to lead us in a meditation in a little bit. And Jesus is going to open us up with an invocation, a practical prayer, because that's the way we like to open everything. And Jesus is on the road, but that's almost redundant when it comes to Jesus, because that's what he does. Jesus?
Thank you, Rev. Thank you. Thank everybody for this beautiful day. Not that you created it, God has created it. When we do the invocation, we call that the opening. We're not invoking the presence, because the presence is already here. And the benediction, that's when we let go and say, oh, it was beautiful, it was nice. So this is the beautiful day. This is the day that the Lord has made. I invite you to relax, enjoy the ride, buckle up to the presence, which is the essence of who you are. Each one here, myself included, all of us, we dwell in the secret place of the Most High. We abide by the shadow of the Almighty. God, Spirit, Father, Mother, universal presence, whichever name you want to give to the nameless. Like the timeless going through time, the formless going through form. The cause, which is God. The effect, which is us here in this manifestation of goodness, is all God. God has supplied all our needs according to his riches and glory in that Christ consciousness. And the storehouse of goodness is abundance. It's an infinite manifestation of all creation here and now. I'm thankful to know the truth, but God about all things that He had revealed to myself, to each one. And the more we open, the more flexibility we give to the one presence, to spirit, the more He could use each one of us. Because each one is an instrument, it's a bridge, it's a channel for divinity to express himself, herself, through each one. And through this celebration, through the music, through the talk, through all that's happening here and now, it is God. It is God manifested. It is God, I would say, through us showing off. Yes. Show off that goodness. Show off that abundance, that joy, that peace, that unity, that freedom, that wisdom. All the attributes of goodness of God is indwelt in each one of us. Turn on the valve and let it come out to the surface for each one here to see the goodness. Because right now, it is written that we are sons and daughters of God, but it doesn't appear so. But when He does appear, we should see Him like He is, because we will see Him in complete form. We will see all that goodness. Evil, doubt, deceit, discord will never come into our consciousness. Only that good, only that love and that joy. We will see that instantly, even though it's a process. But we will see it here and now. So with gratitude in my heart, with that thanksgiving, with that appreciation for this moment of truth that we come together and share our gift, share our divinity. I see God in all things. I see God in the piano. I see God in the reading, in the books. I see God in each one here. It is God seeing God. So with thanksgiving, I let my prayer be known to the creative medium, the creative law, subconscious, that always doing what our word, my word, say to do, my thoughts. Yes, my thoughts is goodness. My thoughts is abundance. My thoughts is peace and love and unity for the whole world, for the whole universe. Because I know everything is in divine order, spiritual awareness, guidance is mine here and now. So I let it be so, and so it is. Amen.
So it is. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. And the reason we do a prayer, a practical prayer, is for practical result, to get something changed in our lives. So I had Joe and I actually together had a practical prayer work story this week. We are getting ready for our winter solstice celebration on Friday evening, and the place that we're doing it does not have internet. But Joe has a new internet dingus for her house, and so we arranged that we would use that. And so she and I met in the parking lot in front of the Marion Friends meeting at their activity center. And it took about 15 seconds to confirm, yep, this works. Bandwidth is perfect. It'll work just fine. And Joe says, that's it? It's like, yeah, that's the way a technology check ought to work. That was it. So if anybody else has a story that you'd like to give voice to, go ahead and raise your hand or digitally, and we'll take a moment and do that. All right. If you have a kazoo. Oh, Jane. Jane is going to pregame. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning. So I'll give you my prayer work story, and then I'll launch right into the announcements.
Okay.
So I had a holiday show yesterday for a lot of my hand beaded jewelry and a few other things. And I had not done a show in a few decades like that. I don't really do the whole show circuit like that. So I had been working with Hannah, who's my prayer partner, and we were, she did some prayer works for me around a really good show. And the practical prayers really work because I got there yesterday, plenty of time, parking was perfect. It's a huge library where I did this show, and I got like one of the coveted spots in the first floor of the library, right, like near the entrance. And one of the other, artists that was sitting in my little area with me was a girl that I haven't seen in 42 years since high school. And she sat like behind me in homeroom for all those years. So that was kind of fun. And I sold a few things and I got home in plenty of time. And so it worked out perfect. So that was great.
I love when that happens.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Okay, let's get to
Zoo's
the
up.
announcements. Okay. This awesome, cool information is on the website at newthoughtphilly.org. Sign up there for the weekly e-newsletter so we can keep in touch. Join one of our 15-minute meditations on Zoom. They happen twice every day and are inspiring, fun, and quick. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning this week are also on Insight Timer Live. And the Wednesday evening session is co-hosted with Anton. The Practical Prayer podcast this week is We Don't Manifest Anything with Carol and Reverend Bill. Listen where you get podcasts or join the live recording session on New Thought Media Network tomorrow at 1 p.m. Our 4-week class, Do Healing Like Jesus, is starting on January 9th. The instructions to create transformation and healing are hidden in plain sight. Reverend Bill brings them to light and helps you learn this timeless technique. Get a red letter Bible and register now. Our winter solstice celebration is this Friday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Friends Meeting in Marion. It will be an awesome experience with ritual meditation and inspiration, plus live music by Emily Drinker and Sonic Yogi.
And this is going to be a fun, big deal. So, and we get into the building at 6 o'clock. So if you'd like to come early so that you can help us set up or pregame the cookies and the apple cider, you are welcome to do that. Greet people. And make everybody feel comfortable and at home. If you've never been there before, it's really easy to find. Driving out of Philadelphia on Montgomery Avenue, you go past the big sign for Macaulay Convent, and it's the next driveway on the right-hand side. The instructions are on the website. And Jane spent a fair amount of time in that building. Is there any secret sauce that we need to know, Jane?
No, I mean you'll find plenty of parking. It's really it's one level, like one building, one level. So it's like very accessible to get into it and out of it. And like I said, lots of parking. You can find it easily, like Reverend Bill said. It's right there.
Yeah, and all the instructions are there on the website. Thank you. I'll go back to be quiet again.
All right. The Power of 8 Intention Circle meets every Monday evening from 6:30 to 7 p.m. to help bring new experience into the lives of the group members. Details are on the website. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube. Follow, subscribe, like, and share, and join the 1,974 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com. Making fun of me?
No, it's liking and sharing.
Okay. We are always grateful for your financial support. You can make a tax-deductible donation by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, Venmo, credit, or debit card. And thank you to the team that makes our celebrations work and has fun doing it. We get together before the celebration to put the pieces in order. To join the joy, email our volunteer coordinator. Next Sunday is online with the Spirit of Giving. You're making a list and checking it twice, but Reverend Bill offers a breather from the hustle and bustle with a reminder about abundance and gratitude. Live music by Jeff Lesser. The practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After the celebration today, Jesus is available for a quick transformational miracle in a minute prayer. And then we'll leave the Zoom meeting open after the celebration for casual conversation.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm looking around the group and I recognize everybody. So we get to bless ourselves. And this is a perfect time to do that because it's nice and chilly, at least here in North America. So go ahead and rub your hands together. Feel the warmth. Feel that warmth building up. Feel the love. Give a little bit to yourself and then share it with the group. We are the bright lights of God's love. I'm so grateful for the way that the light is shining and the love is flowing today. And welcome home. As Anna sings the next song, let's go ahead and make eye contact with the folks we are in community with, because this is the way that love encounters love.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. It's where you find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. So why then oh I can't I? Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. It's where you find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, birds fly over the rainbow. So why then oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why oh why one time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. We're going to light the flames of faith, and Nia is going to lead us today.
Okay. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the earth-based traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today, I told Jo that I couldn't remember the name of the book, and then she very cleverly took a picture of it and sent it to me. So it's From Meditations for Living in Balance, Daily Solutions for People Who Do Too Much by Ann Wilson Schaaf, and it is being shared with us by Karen Judd.
Good morning. The reading is entitled Perspective and begins with a quote by May Sarton. Life comes in clusters, clusters of solitude, then a cluster when there is hardly time to breathe. Perspective is one of the most valuable gifts we can have. Some believe that perspective can only come with age and experience. Both help, and anyone can have perspective or not have it. One gains perspective by being able to rise above the day-to-day and see a larger picture while still participating in what's going on at the moment. Often we are given a gift of perspective by reading or listening to the words of people who are able to have a larger vision than we have. There's nothing wrong with not having a very large perspective. We are who we are. We are where we are. It is a shame, however, to deprive ourselves of a broader perspective just because we don't have one ourselves. We have access to so much wisdom. There are the wise old elders who are in our lives or who come in and out of our lives. There are the words of great spiritual leaders. There are wondrous spiritual teachers. There are meditation books and books of wisdom. We deprive ourselves when we do not avail ourselves of the wisdom and perspective around us. Perspective is a great balancer. Gather some books that you know contain wisdom and perspective, and feed yourself at least once or twice a day. And so it is.
through so much, so many ups and downs. You've given your love, but never liked the way it turned out. You closed off your heart, and you carried the weight like a million rocks on your shoulders. But you don't have to wait for an apology or for someone else to make amends. But you can remember that your healing is in your hands. Just let it go, inch by inch, just let it go. And do it again, just let it go. One day you'll see, just let it go. You've set yourself free. You've been used, you've been abused. Someone came along who didn't value you. You carried the weight of your heart like a million rocks on your shoulders. But life isn't meant to be perfect, and we won't always win. But can you remember that your healing is in your hands? And just let it go, inch by inch, just let it go. And do it again, just let it go. One day you'll see, just let it go. You've set yourself free. Gave it your all. You put your blinders on when you looked around. All of your friends were gone. You took the fall, and you carried their weight like a million rocks on your shoulders. Just let it go, inch by inch, just let it go. And do it again, just let it go. One day you'll see, just let it go. You set yourself free, just let it go. Inch by inch, just let it go. And do it again, just let it go. One day you'll see, just let it go. You'll set yourself free.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, what are you looking at? Now, that's not necessarily a question directly at you. Probably what you're looking at is our Zoom celebration. That's the title of the talk today. What are you looking at? And you know, that can be interpreted a bunch of different ways. If that's said by a bully on the playground, what are you looking at? You know, or somebody who's trying to be aggressive or belligerent, what are you looking at? The wrong answer to give them is nothing, because that will probably just cause more trouble. A lot of times that question is intended to be provocative. There are other times where you get exactly the same question. What are you looking at? You know, if you're talking to tech support, you say, there's no unmute button in my Zoom. They want to know which screen you're on. What are you looking at? And that can be helpful because understanding where somebody is starting lets us get into alignment with them so that we can create something new in partnership with them. What are you looking at? If anybody has seen my car, you know that I have a personalized Pennsylvania license plate, and it says RUR2GR, and I wrote it down here. Those are actually the steps in a practical prayer. Is recognition, unification, realization, a couple of extra steps, gratitude, and release. RUR2GR. It's on the back of my car. And probably 3 or 4 times a year, somebody makes a comment about it. And usually what happens is they'll say, what does that mean? I was driving down the street this week, and a guy pulled up next to me, and he's honking his horn, and he's beeping the horn, and he's trying to get me to roll my window down. So I rolled the window down, and he looks at RUR2GR. He points. He says, "He's Greek. You're Greek too. You're Greek." Like, no, no, I'm not Greek, and I didn't have the time or the interest to try and slow down traffic in the 2-lane road that we were on to explain what it actually meant. But the interesting thing is that he was looking through his filter. He was Greek. He saw my license plate. He thought maybe I was Greek too. RUR2GR. Are you too Greek? Yes, maybe not. Or we don't know. But what a wonderful reminder that what we are looking through is our own filter. We each bring our own perspective. So when somebody asks, what are you looking at? A lot of times it's, what are you looking with? Where are you looking from? What is the perspective that you're bringing to the situation that lets you perceive it the way that it is? Now, today is December 15th, 2024, and this was an auspicious date in history. And depending on how you approach it, the important aspect of this date in history could be different. In 1791, this was the date that the Bill of Rights was finally ratified, and it's been going on for quite some time. So for some people, that's a really big deal. That's what they think of when they think of December 15th. It's also the date in 1773 of an event called the Boston Tea Party, which you also might have heard about. This is the date, December 15th, 1939. It was the premiere in Atlanta of the movie Gone with the Wind. Ah, well, that's different. And the other notable thing, another notable thing, lots of important stuff has happened on December 15th. And Google is wonderful for adding to your rich store of knowledge that you're never going to use again. But on December 15th, 1903, the patent for the ice cream cone was granted to Italo Marchiony, my great-grandfather. So when we're talking about perspective, what are you looking at? I look at December 15th from the perspective of being in the family of the guy who invented the ice cream cone, and most people wouldn't. And that's okay. And that's okay. It's just another reminder that when we look at something, we might be seeing it differently than other people are, and it might have more to do with us than it does to do with them. So I'm going to give you a phrase now, and I want you to see what it brings to mind for you, because this will get us a little insight on what are you looking at. And what I want you to bring to mind is fire engine red. When I say fire engine red, you probably get an idea into your mind of what that means. You've got that color, and it probably started out with a fire engine, and then you're diving into the red color, and you're thinking about other things that are fire engine red, like maybe somebody in your youth had a Corvette that was fire engine red, and it makes you think of that, you know. And there are other colors that we can define or explain or evoke similarly. Sky blue. When I say sky blue, you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Chocolate brown, you have an idea of that too. And these are what the people who work in the color industry call memory colors. And what we have in common is that when I say fire engine red, what I'm triggering in your mind is a recollection of whatever it is that you understand to be fire engine red. It may or may not have anything to do with the way fire engine red looks inside of my awareness, because we're all equipped with this optical system and the brain interpretation system that tells us what the color is. So one of my favorite trick questions is, how many colors can we see? And the usual answer that technology has given us is 16.7 million colors. That's full color reproduction on digital systems. 16.7 million colors, and it's actually a hair over 16.7 million. But if you look at it in a different perspective, the number of colors that we can see is 3. And the reason that I point that out is because the device that you're looking at right now has 3 different colors in the screen. It has red, it has green, it has blue. And the reason it has those 3 colors, believe it or not, is because our eyes are sensitive to 3 different wavelengths of light, which are red, green, and blue. So what happens is our screen can fool us into seeing 16.7 million different colors by giving a different amount of red and green and blue in different aspects and different areas. Oh, and if you multiply 256 to the third, or 3 to the 256, it comes out to 16.7 million. And interestingly, humans can't tell all those colors apart. Some of them look incredibly similar. If you take, if you move over 1/16.7 millionth of a color, you may or may not be able to tell the difference. There are, in fact, a lot of different colors, different combinations of those 16.7 million that you'd look at and you say, yeah, that's fire engine red. And there are even more that you'd say, yeah, that's sky blue, because sky blue has a big range. This can be a dark blue sky, a bright blue sky. Chocolate brown, I mean, I have a chocolate colored standard poodle, and he's one color of brown, and milk chocolate is a different color, and dark chocolate is another color. And you see where I'm getting into. What are you looking at? When I'm looking at something and I'm saying that it's fire engine red, that gives an anchor point for my perspective. It doesn't tell you what the color is. It doesn't tell you how your brain needs to be interpreting that color. It's the starting point for us being able to communicate. Question some people have is, well, we see 16.7 million colors, so I see fire engine red. What does my dog see? When that same fire engine red color is exposed to my dog, what does my dog see? Well, I'm not sure. It probably matters to dogs. I do know that my dog has a reaction to fire engines. It may or may not have anything to do with the color. He might just get excited because it's a big truck driving down the street. So the question becomes, what are you looking at? And more importantly, the question becomes, what are you looking for? Because when we are looking for something, we tend to find it. That's the law of attraction. When we set our intention to be in harmony with something, then that something tends to show up in our lives. So what are you looking through? What is the composite of the experiences that you've had in your life that you're coloring everything with, that you're comparing everything to, that you're using as your baseline? When you see something or when you hear something, are you in a completely clear field where you can engage with that and respond to it as though nothing else had happened? What are you looking at? Is it a Zoom screen? Is it a bully? The way that we're engaging with that can be different. So the reason that I bring this all up is because we always have a choice. When the question comes up, what are you looking at? Instead of trying to explain what's out there in the world around us that we're looking at, and try and define and explain and categorize and catalog all the things out there, perhaps it's a reminder to consider how we're looking at it. Is it possible to look at the same situation that I've been looking at for a while and look through the eyes of compassion? Can I put myself in the shoes or the experience of the person who I'm looking at or engaging with and have a deeper understanding of where they're coming from, what they might be meaning, so that I can understand what they're looking at and look at it either the same way or with understanding that that's not the way I see it, but there's a different possibility here. It's so helpful in avoiding fights. We get in a conversation, somebody tells us that this is what something is. It's like, I don't know what you're looking at, but that's not the way I see it. And you can have a fight with them, or you can find a way to stop and say, all right, you're seeing it one way. I think I'm seeing it a different way. Can we talk about the difference? Can we talk about the difference between the way that you're seeing it and the way that I'm seeing it? Is it possible to look through the eyes of gratitude, to see something that's happening and say, I know when I go back to principle that there is only one power and presence. There is only one creative source of everything. There is one love, and everything is that one love unfolding in its own way. And this thing showing up in front of me does not seem like love. Is it possible for me to look at it and see the love? To see it with a different perspective? Can I see the love that must be there? It must somehow be there, even though it could be really, really well hidden. And I'm fairly adept at looking at stuff in the world around me and calling out the stuff that just doesn't work properly and things that are silly and are, improper. But, we all are. That's one of the gifts of being human, is that we can look at things and think that it is about the way that we're looking at them. Or we can say, is this love? Can I look at this as love? Can I be love and engage in this circumstance, this situation, this experience? Is it possible that somebody's parent or sibling or beloved was born on December 15th? Well, that would make it an even more important date for them. And I don't have to celebrate that particular holiday, that particular anniversary, or that birthday in order to be compassionate and be present with whoever it is that's having that celebration themselves. So what are we bringing to it? Is there a possibility to ask, what are you looking at? And if the answer is not, I'm looking at love, say, is there a different way to look at it? Because I know that as I'm looking through this Zoom screen, somewhere between 3 and 16.7 million colors and various shades and resolutions, that what I'm seeing is love. The bright light of divine love showing up in all sorts of different ways. You are that love. You are that light. I know it and I can see it. That's what I'm looking at. Look for love. Look for something wonderful because you deserve it. So it is.
Thank you, Anna. That was really, really lovely. So we're going to do a little meditation now. Think about, put it all together, the feelings from the music, what thoughts that we got from the inspiration. One of the things that hit me as Reverend Bill was talking is, I don't know when this was a long time ago, and I think it was, I'm not sure where I heard it. I think it was a really good friend of mine that was just sometimes once told me, nothing changes but your perspective. And it made an impression on me. I guess I don't know why, it just did. It just hit me, and I've never forgotten that. And it's also interesting that from 3 basic colors, wavelengths of light, we get millions of different shades. And that's kind of amazing. And it's informative that, gee, maybe, what am I looking at? How did this specific combination come together? So maybe what we have to do is align what, when, and how we're looking at something. And realize that, we're told we have 3 brains, the head, the heart, and the gut. And which one are we using? Are we using all of them? Are we using just one of them? And what are we going to see differently? It's like when you're looking at the night sky with a telescope. If you're not looking at it the right way, you're going to see something different. So let's think about that alignment. And how do we shift? How do we determine what we want to see, where we want to go? So let's take a few deep breaths as we settle in. Get your feet flat on the floor, find a position of comfort. We'll start by taking 3 slow, deep breaths. Take a breath in, hold it at the top, and release, and really release. Feel that slackness come into your body after you release. And exhale. 1 more deep breath in, hold it, and again, relax. See if there's any tension that left, shifts in the tension in your body anywhere. 1 more breath in, hold it, and release. So what are we looking at? And not just what, but how, and from where, and maybe why. But try to align the what, where, and how, and see what new picture comes up as we go into the silence.
What are you looking at? I like what Wayne Dyer said. When we change the way we look at things, that thing that we look at will change. Are you looking at people with love, with joy, with compassion? I'm not speaking about people that love you, that support you. I'm speaking about people that maybe speak disrespectful about you, tear you down. I like what Mark Twain said about forgiveness and love. Forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet shed on the heels that crushed it. It's not only beneficial to pray for loved ones and friends, it's beneficial to pray for those that despise you, that curse you. That's where you look at things with love, with joy. It used to take me a long time to get to that point. Sometimes it takes me hours, a day, sometimes instantly. Depends what I'm looking at. I'm looking at God in all things, in all people. If I look not only at the behavior, but look at the essence, the presence that each one possess, I will judge rightly, not amiss. So what I'm looking at, what are you looking at? In the midst of trouble and chaos, we looking with love, with peace. Yeah, it surpasses all human understanding. That's why sometimes it doesn't make sense. We're not using our senses. We're using the presence. So what are we looking at? I invite you right now to take a deep breath in. Let it go. And as we let go of this wonderful meditation, prayer, celebration, shake your shoulders a little bit, move yourself a little bit around. And when you're comfortable, bring your awareness back to the celebration as Anna sing this next beautiful song for each one of us and look at it beautifully. Go ahead, Anna. Thank you.
Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks for all that is. Give praise, give praise, give praise, give praise, give praise for all that is. There will never now. Say love, say love, say love, say love, say love for all that is. Ashe, 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 ashe for all that is. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks for all that is. Give praise, give praise, give praise, give praise, give praise for all that is. There will never ever be another day just like this day, so let's give praise and love. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah for all that is. Namaste, 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 namaste for all that is. There will never ever be another day just like this day, so let's give praise now. We give praise and I say love, namaste. We give praise for all that is. Give praise for all that is.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Joe. Beautiful, beautiful meditation. What wonderful way to deepen into that. And Jesus, for the prayer, there's the part where Jesus was talking, and I was reminded of the 23rd Psalm, which is one of the most beautiful and I think most subtly misunderstood passages in the Bible. That's the one that talks about, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. And people think it's about death. But the part that was brought to mind is, thou preparest a table for me in the presence of mine enemies. And you hear that and you think, who wants that? Who wants a table in the presence of your enemies? But when you realize that it's talking about being in the presence of the infinite, that's bringing a pretty powerful partner so that you can dine comfortably in the presence of of thine enemies. So that was a little gleaning that I got out of this, and this is the wisdom share. This is the opportunity that we all have to give voice to whatever it is that came up for you, and to ask and answer that question. What are you looking at? What you looking at? Breen, what are you looking at?
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about the colors because I think about this for years since I was a little kid, even off and on, this idea of, we've all agreed that, fire engine red is fire engine red, but do we all see it completely differently? And what would happen if I could see the world the way other people see the world? Because we all have our own filter, and even just as, like colors and what we think is beautiful. And I get caught up sometimes in judgment and, what are they looking, what are they doing? And you're changing, and from me, it's sometimes traffic, and I'm driving and I'm like calculating constantly, like, okay, that guy 4 lanes up and the white car is going slow, so the guy behind him is going to get over, so I got to get. And Jane's like, what are you talking about? But I'm like, doesn't everyone pay attention to every car on the road? Like, come on, people, what are we doing? And last night we were at Walnut Street, and at Walnut Street Theater, and we saw Elf the musical, which was okay, but at intermission, the people in front of us had to get up because they were in someone else's seats, because someone else was in their seats. And I'm thinking, how does that happen? If someone's in my seat, I just go, hey, you're in my seat, get out. So, but not everyone does that. So, and everyone's got their own experience and their own approach, and we're all looking at things the way we look at them and through our own eyes. And I know my default setting sometimes is, why aren't people looking at things the way I look at them? And that doesn't allow for growth for me, but also for the infinite ways that spirit can express through each of us. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah. So I actually had an opportunity in my in my younger days, as desktop publishing was becoming a thing. The people who printed stuff in color actually had a much more challenging job than you can possibly imagine. I mean, at this point, you go on Amazon and you buy something, and if it shows up and it's the wrong color, you just send it back. But that didn't used to be the way things worked. You needed to make sure that it looked the right way in the LL Bean catalog so that people weren't all disappointed. And there's a huge amount of science that's involved in that because the colors are reproduced in different ways. So I actually spent a lot of time understanding the difference about, is it 16.7 million? Is it 7,000? Is it 3? Who's to tell? Jesus?
Thank you, Red. Thank you for that beautiful talk, and thank you, Anna, for that. That music just touched my soul, my heart. Any discord, any disease, any doubt was taken away by that soft music. It's good for the soul. Yesterday I was in Maryland dropping off a car. It was way in the boondocks, and the person I was dropping off to, well, I know him for like a lot of years, but I see him maybe 3 times in my all those years. So I was back in his house. I don't really remember it because maybe it was like 10 years ago. But he took me to Baltimore Penn Station, that was really nice because it was like an hour and something to get there to take the Amtrak. And he's a doctor. He was explaining to me of the ICU unit, and a lot of people ask me, I don't know how you do this, how you do this and that. But then you look at the stories of other people, what he got to do and all this, and you say, well, I don't know how he does that, but he, nice guy explaining to me, and it's good when people will share their experience and how they look at things and where they at and what they're going through and things like that. And all of us are, the main thing we want to go is back to the Father's house where we came from, and that's our goal, that's our purpose, getting back there, Yeah, so this celebration just, thank you, Joe, for that beautiful meditation. This celebration take us closer there, closer. So I'm really grateful and thankful for this very opportunity that I have today to be with you thought Philly, and I'm glad, I'm thankful for New Thought Philly because it's a channel where we could express ourselves, open ourselves, and grow together. So thank you. Thank you, Rev. Thank you for the board, and thank you each one right here and right now. Yes.
Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. And Jesus is very comfortable driving cars back and forth to Florida 24 hours at a clip, and that would make me completely crazy. There are other people who are surgeons. Ick. I mean, I'm glad there are people who can do that, but that's not for me. Thank you. Jane, the offering, if you would.
Jane's looking for the script.
But Bree knows it by heart.
I know it by heart. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. The way you shine your light spreads the love in the world, and the way you share your gift helps us fund our work in the world. We're grateful for every way you share. You can go on our website, make a donation, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the things. You can send us a check to our office in Ardmore, whatever you'd like to do. We are very grateful for every way that you share. And we don't have a basket, but we got all those buttons on our website. So click on over there and yeah, donate. And while you're thinking about that and getting your donation together, offering affirmations on our screen, so we will say it together. I live
in an abundant universe.
I am
one with the infinite source of all good. I am a center of conscious prosperity. I enjoy the richness of life. I bless my gift. I share my gift with
gratitude and joy.
I know that as I give, I do receive.
So it is.
And so it is. Nice performance from memory, Breen. I'm pretty sure you ad-libbed and put in some more stuff. Maybe we have to revise that thing. Thank you, thank you. Anna, one more for us, please.
Sure. Sometimes in our lives we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be your friend, I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother. You need a hand. We will need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We will need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. just come on, Mr. Step. When you need a hand, we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Thank you so much.
Lean on me. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everybody. Let us close with a cacophony. Go ahead and unmute your microphone if you can find the button as discussed earlier and repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I am light.
I am
I am light.
I look with love.
I
look with love.
And I see good unfold.
And I see
Good
good
unfolding.
unfolding.
So it is.
And so it is.
Woohoo! Oh, thank you all.